Hey everybody, and welcome to the SAT Math tip of the day. So we have an example here. We're just going to have a quick little chat about it. I'll point out a few things that people do incorrectly, and I'll also point out time savers to ensure you get it right. So in this particular example, we have 4 options, and this very easily could be an open-ended question as well. It would fit in perfectly in the open-ended section, but we have it presented to us as a multiple choice. You want to keep in mind that the multiple choice options that they're going to give you on any really quality test are going to be good, wrong answers. They're not throwaway answers. They're going to be common answers that people who try to do this question come up with. So just because you get an answer and it's a choice doesn't mean you got it right, right? So let's get into this. It says, if 10x over 2 equals 20, then what does 5x over 4 equal? Now, let's go about it correctly the first time I show this to you, but not efficiently, all right? So maybe you even want to pause right now and try this on your own. Give it 2 minutes. Don't spend more than 2 minutes on this. But when you're ready to come back, we'll chat, okay? So hopefully you tried it on your own. Now, if we were doing this correctly and you had 10x over 2 equal to 20, what we have here is a full equation. This is a full piece of information regarding the x. We only have one true unknown value, and that is x. So all we need in order to do anything with it and figure it out is really one full equation. If we had 2 unknowns, we would need 2 full equations. If we had 3 unknowns, we would need 3 different full equations. So this is a single variable situation. So what some people will do is they're going to correctly, hopefully, get x alone. Isolate x, first solve for x. So they may start by multiplying both sides by 2. Nothing wrong with this, totally fine. All right, so then they have 10x equals 40. Don't do 20x over 2, that's just silly. Then we're going to divide both sides by 10. A lot of people here, especially if the coefficient, like 10 right here, were negative, but they might subtract 10 from both sides by accident. If it's negative 10, more often I see a lot of people adding the 10 because they see that minus sign and they just want to go with it, right? That reduces to a 1, and then you have 40 over 10, so x equals 4. Now, if you look at your choices, 4 is an option, but 4 is not the answer. So even if you are doing your algebra correctly, you very likely can pick a wrong answer. Probably not going to be the answer. It could be, but right now it doesn't look like it. Go back to the question. If blah, 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 then what does 5x over 4 equal? They don't ask you what does x equal, and that's what we found. Classic SAT, right? Totally typical. So what are you going to do? You could do substitution, fill the 4 in for the x. 5 times 4 over 4. Now, if you did 5 times 4 is 20 over 4, and then 20 over 4 is 5, are you right? Yes, you're correct. The answer is, in fact, 5. But are you being practical at all anywhere along the way? Not so much. So a couple things to point out. 1, if you're a righty, I don't know why, but a lot of people start writing over here and then they waste all the box space. Definitely start writing here and stay organized because you really only have a limited amount of space to do your scrapwork. Next, I don't think this is totally necessary. I am going to show you another way, but if you made it all the way to here and you fill in the 4, it is quite beautiful how those 4s can just cross out and you get the 5 much quicker. What else? Right from the beginning, you had 10 over 2, x equals 20. If you were going along the route of solving for x first, I would at least reduce, or I wrote it as 10 over 2x, it's the same as 10x over 2, right? I would at least reduce 10 and 2 and make it just 5x equals 20 from the get-go. Make things smaller, less opportunity for mistakes. Divide by the 5 and you still get that x equals 4. And again, all of these things are just things that are kind of wasteful in time and get you a little lost sometimes. Really bad mistakes might be something like 10x divided by 2 equals 20. A lot of times I see people get so fixated on divided by 2 that by accident, instead of multiplying by 2 to the other side, they divide by 2 on the other side instead. And then they get 10x equals 10, x equals 1, and go to that. And then 1's a choice, so maybe people pick that. All right, so what do I think is the best way? I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. What you have to remember, I like to call this the manipulation technique. So what you want to do is you want to take your given piece of information, in this case it's 10x over 2 equals 20, and I want to manipulate it so that one side of my equal sign becomes 5x plus over 4. Instead of finding x and then substituting, you're like Michelangelo, you're like making a sculpture over here, you are manipulating the stone. So 10x over 2 is equal to 20. Definitely rewrite the question for sure. Now we're here. I want x is in my numerator. That's already a good start. If I needed x in the denominator, we're probably going to have to do a little reciprocal action, right? But I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. How do I get the 10 over 2 to become a 5 over 4? You have a lot of ways you can do this. I'm going to do it in a way that can allow us to have a little conversation about a fraction divided by a fraction and keep, change, flip and things like that, only because it's a situation. I could set it up into a situation that I often see students mess up. So I'm just trying to make the most of this one example for today. What can I multiply each side by? What we do to one side, you must do to the other. And remember, this 20 is technically over a 1, so that 10 over 2 turns into a 5 over 4. Well, I'm going to make it a fraction, so I can multiply the top of each side by something, and then I can multiply the bottom of each side by something, which is the same as dividing each side, but it's all the same, okay? What do you need to multiply the 10 by to make it become a 5? Don't worry about this. This is just sort of like collateral damage, and once the dust is landed, boom, you'll have your answer. So what do I need to multiply 10 by to turn it into a 5? 1/2. 1/2 of means multiply. 1/2 of 10, half of 10 is 5. So if I multiply this side by a half on top, I will also multiply this side by a half on top. Could you reduce first and make it a 5? Yes, we will talk about that. I wanted to talk about the fraction thing though. What do I have to multiply both sides by on bottom so that this 2 becomes a 4? 2. Now some people are going to be like, 1/2 divided by 2, well, that's 1. No, it's not. No, you are lying. So on the left side of the equal sign, 1/2 10x, I have 5x. 2 times 2 is 4. So my left is now what I want, okay? My left side is now 5x over 4. What is the right side? I don't really need that 1 for the 20 over 1, but who cares? Let's leave it. How do I handle this? Couple ways. Option 1, multiply the tops. What's half of 20? That's 10. What's 1 times 2? That's 2. And what's 10 over 2? That's 5. So that's one way to look at it. Are they all going to be this cute and nice? I don't think so, but maybe. What goes wrong here? People see this and they're like, oh, keep, change, flip. So what do they do with this? Oh my gosh. So my dog's on the desk. Sorry. Let's put him on the floor. He's climbing out of my lap. 1/2. Sorry, guys. 1/2 over 2. They'll be like, okay, keep, change. This drives me crazy. And they go flip and they do this. This is wrong, okay? No. 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 This 2 on bottom is really a 2 over 1. So if you are thinking the keep, change, flip route, you are doing keep, you are doing change, you are doing flip. 1/2 times 1/2. What is half of a half? 1/4 or a quarter. 1/4 is not 1 over 25. It's 25%, hence the word quarter, but 1/4, okay? And then what is 1/4 or a quarter of times of means times, is means equals. What is 1/4 of 20? Also 5. What's another way? Clean it up maybe a little bit more so that you could avoid the little fractions. Last thing, 10x over 2. My dog wants another treat. Like he's had 1,000 treats today. Equals 20. He's quite needy. 10 over 2, 5x equals, just because I reduced this and divided by 2, you are not doing that to the right. It is just 20, okay? And then we could pick up from here. What has to happen to each side in order? Most people are going to divide by 5 here, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, divide by 5, x. Don't do that. Because what if they're annoying numbers, right? This one's a nice one. Instead, I'm going to divide by 4. This way, I'm done. 5x over 4, isn't that what I'm looking for? What does it equal? Well, 20 over 4 equals 5, okay? So that was just one example, but that strategy could be applied in a lot of different places. So my goal is to post an SAT math tip of the day every day in the month of February. Febtober. It's February. It is not October. I'm sorry. So my goal is 1 a day. It's the shortest month, easiest month to set that goal, I guess. So I hope you found this helpful, and hopefully there'll be another video for you tomorrow and the day after, and we'll see if I can get some momentum going. All right? Hope you enjoyed. Hope you feel smarter. Thumbs up if you do, if you learned anything. Thumbs down if you are cranky. And I hope you have a great day. Adios.